Okay, welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be mainly focusing on CSS. So in the last one, we did HTML, and this one, we're going to be doing a little bit of HTML, but also some CSS. So this is what the final finished product is going to look like. And we can start with Free Code Camp. It's the second one. Let me just show you. Like, you come here and number one, and as you can see, we finished the first one, and now we start with the second one. So again, this is what it's gonna look like when we're done. Okay. So again, I'm just gonna be going over this real quick. So we need to add the doc type HTML to tell that it's an HTML document, and we add an HTML element with a lang attribute of en, which is English. So HTML, and then we close it. And hopefully I can finish this in one video because it is 91 steps. And I think the language goes here. I'm not sure though. Oh, sorry, my bad. It's here. I'm blind. But oh my god, I can't type. Okay. So that's step one. Step two, add a head within the HTML element, so you can add a title element. The title element's text should be cafe menu. So we add a head, title, and fill it all in. So head, and then title, and that should be cafe menu. And then we close the title, and then we close the head. Easy peasy. Okay, the title is one of several elements that provides extra information not visible on the web page, but it is useful for search engines or how the page gets displayed. Okay, we know that already. Inside the head element, nest a meta element with the attribute named char set the value. Okay, this is another easy thing that's not really that important, but I guess, you know, it's good practice to do it. So inside the head element, I guess we'll do it here. So this is a self-closing tag, so we don't need to close it. So just like an essay, we have a heading and a body. So here we are, sorry, I think it should be after the head. So body, open and close. Okay, inside the body, add a main element with, okay, so just main, and then close it. Easy peasy. The name of the cafe is Camper Cafe, so we need to add an h1 tag that says that. So oh, oops. Okay, and as you can see, we have the title of the page now. So to let the visitors know this was founded here, so add a p element below this. Okay, so p, and then copy paste this because I'm lazy, and then p and close. Okay, there will be two sections on the menu, one for the coffees and one for the desserts. Add a section element within the main element so you have a place to put all the coffees available. So section within the main. Okay, so section, close it, and we're good. Create an h2 element in the section element and give it the text coffee. Okay, so h2 tag, and then close it and give it coffee. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Okay, so up until now you have been limited regarding the presentation and appearance of the content you create. To start taking control, add a style element within the head element. Style. I don't know how they want me to put that within the head element. So here, style, is that it? I guess we do it here. And we need to close it, so. Okay, you can add style to an element by specifying it in the style element and setting a property for it like this. Center the content of the h1 element by setting its text align value to the value center. Okay. So h1, and then open this, and we say text align equals to center. Wait, I think we should use this, the colon, center. There we go. Okay, now it's at the center. And for later purposes, you're gonna wanna use a separate document for CSS, one for HTML, one for CSS, just to make it a little cleaner. That's why I got confused when it said style, because I'm usually used to doing it in another document, but whatever. I think we're gonna do that later. In the previous step, you have used a type selector to style the h1 element. Center the content of the h2 and p elements by adding a new type selector for each one of the style element. Okay, so we do the same thing basically. But for h2 and the p. I'm not sure what happened here. Okay, so just basically do the same thing. I guess we gotta do it separately. Okay, you now have 3 type selectors with the exact same styling. You can add the same group of styles to many elements by creating a list of the selectors. Yeah, this is what I was trying to do. Delete them and replace them with one selector list. Okay, so I guess I was right. It's just that I did it too early. They didn't expect me to know that. Okay, start by rewriting the styles you have created into the CSS file. Yes, that's what I was saying. Okay, make sure to exclude the opening and closing style tags. Okay, I don't remember. I guess I should just come here and basically just do this and this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now that we've done that, we can remove the style here. There we go. Okay, now we need to reference it, I think. Inside the head element, add a link element. Give it a relation attribute with the value of style sheet and href attribute with the value of styles.css, because that's the name of the document. So inside the head element, which is here, we need to add a link element. Oh, I've completely forgot we're in HTML. Link. Okay, we need to give it a relation of style sheet, and then we href think that should work. Yes, there we go. Okay, for the styling of the page to look similar, add the following with the head element. For the styling of the page to look similar on mobile as it does on a desktop or laptop, you need to add a meta element with a special content attribute. Add the following within the head. Okay. Okay, the text is centered again, so the link to the CSS file is working. Add another style that changes the background property to brown for the body element. So let's copy this background color and sorry, for the body element. So body, and then here we do the background color and we set it to brown, and that's kind of ugly. Okay, so we're gonna need to change it to Burlywood because it's ugly. There we go. The div element is used mainly for design layout purposes, unlike the other content elements you have used so far. Add a div element inside the body element and move all the other elements inside the new div. Inside the opening div tag, add the ID attribute. Okay. So inside the body, we need to add a div. And inside the div, inside the opening, ID equals menu. I think that's it. There we go, yes. Okay, use the menu selector to give your element a width of 300 pixels. So px stands for pixels. So come here, hashtag menu, and width 300 px. Okay, so just a quick little note. Here we don't have hashtags because they're just elements. Here we have a hashtag because this is an ID. This is an element that we created, from out of on our own, but H1, H2, these are things that are already known in HTML, so we don't need to put a hashtag. And later we're going to create classes, and classes use a dot before the thing, so that's what it does. So yeah, you'll see later. Okay, comment out the line containing the background color property and value. You can see, okay, where's the background color? Oh, here. I was looking here. Excuse me. So we commented it out. So when you comment something out, the program doesn't read it. It's just for humans. Okay. Now use the existing hashtag menu selector to set the background color of the div element to be Burlywood. Okay. Wait, I'm confused. Now use the existing selector to set the background color of the div element to be Burlywood. Okay, so I guess background color. There we go. Okay, so now we need to change the width property to be 80% to make it 80% of the width of its parent element body. So that means we change it for the menu. So width. Oh, I think we just do it here. 80%. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now you want to center the hashtag menu horizontally. You can do this by setting its margin left and margin right properties to auto. Think of the margin as the invisible space around an element. Using these two margin properties, center the menu element within the body element. Okay, so margin is basically this little area right here. So here you have this element, this little line is for like all of this, right? And this is the border of the page. So the margin is basically this little area in between those two things. The margin is basically the area between your element and everything else around it. So we need to set that to auto, so so that it can automatically place itself, you know, like the margin left and the margin right. It can have like it can make it automatically equal to each other. So auto, and we're just gonna copy, paste, and this is right. And as you can see, it did exactly what I said. Okay, a class selector is defined with it by a name with a dot directly in front of it, like this. That's what I was telling you about. Change the existing menu selector into a class selector by replacing with a class named dot menu. Okay, dot menu. Okay, and as you can see, it doesn't work because like it just deleted everything we did because the menu is an ID, not a class. So we need to add a class so that it becomes both menu, and now it works, I guess. Not. Oh yeah, we don't need to have an ID because we already have a class. Okay. Delete the comment and its content inside the body type selector. Since your cafe's main product is for sale is coffee, you could use an image of coffee beans in the background of the page. So we're gonna replace the ugly background with an actual picture of coffee. So background dash image is gonna be set to I'm not really sure about the syntax here, but we'll go with it. Oh, okay, I guess it works. Is that it? Do we need a semicolon at the end? Yes. And we're making some good progress. It's looking good. Time to start adding some menu items. Add an empty article under the coffee heading. It will contain a flavor and the price of each coffee you currently offer. So here we insert the article, and that's it. It's an empty article. So okay, in this case it will contain coffee flavor. It will contain a coffee flavor and the price for that flavor. Nest 2 p elements inside your article element. The first one should be French vanilla and the second text should be 3. Okay, so we need 2 p elements. So p, and then we need to close the p. Okay, and that's one, so we add another. And in the first one, it's gonna have French vanilla, and in the second one, it's gonna be 3.00. There we go. Okay, starting below the existing coffee price pair, add the following coffee prices using article elements with 2 nested p elements inside as before. So basically what you're going to want to do here is this. Okay, 2, 3, and 4, and we change French vanilla to caramel macchiato, and then pumpkin spice for the next one, and then hazelnut, and then mocha. Okay, and now for the prices, $3.75, and then $3.50, and then $4, and then $4.50. Okay. The flavors and prices are currently stacked on top of each other and centered with their respective P elements. It would be nice if the flavor was on the left and the price was on the right. Okay, add the class name flavor to the French vanilla P element. So here we say class equals to flavor. Okay, that's good. Okay, and now we go back to the CSS and we say, since it's a class, so we start with dot flavor, and then we open the tags, text dash align left. So let me quickly explain here. Dot flavor, dot is because it's a class. If it was an ID, it would be hashtag flavor, and then that was all done in the index.html file. And so we go back to the CSS file, we type it here, and then we give it some attributes. And you could just keep adding and adding and adding to it as much as you want, but for now we just want it text aligned to the left. So we submit and continue. Now we do the same thing, but for this. So class dash price. Okay, as you can see, that was in the HTML. Now we go back to CSS and we say dot price, and then we text align to the right. And there we go. Now it's done. Okay, if they were on the same line. Okay, to get them on the same line, you need to apply some styling to the P elements so they behave more like inline elements. To do that, start by adding a class attribute with the value item to the first article element under the coffee heading. So we say class equals item. And I'm guessing we're gonna have to do that to all of them later, but okay. So using the above selector, add a display property with value inline block, so they behave like inline blocks. So dot item to what? I think P. I'm just gonna do it like what it says and we'll see. Display inline block. There we go. And now it's inline. As you can see, it's on the same line. Okay, that's closer, but the price didn't say on the right. You can spread them out, add a width property to the flavor and price. Okay, so width, we need to set that to 50%. And we do the same thing to the price. And there we go, I think. Okay, that didn't work. Change the width value to 49%. That should work. And it did. There is still space to the right. You could keep trying percentages for width. Instead, you use the backspace key on your keyboard to move the P element with the class price next to the P element with the class flavor so that they're on the same line in the editor. Make sure there is no space between the two elements. I'm not sure I understand what it wants me to do here. Instead, use the backspace key on your keyboard to move the P element. So just this. Is that what it's asking? I guess. That still did nothing. Now go ahead and change both flavor and price to 50% again. Okay. And there we go, it worked, finally. Okay, so basically it's just, I think when you put them on the same line, it does some other thing. And when you put them on the same line, that's when you can finally use 50%. Because if they weren't on the same line, then there would be like a space between them. So 50% would be a little bit too far, so it would come to the next line. So that's where we changed it to 49% and it went back up. But 49% was too little, 50% was too much. So you make them on the same line and then make them 50% to remove that little tiny space here that made it go to the next line. I hope you understand that. So, okay. Now that you know it works, you can change the remaining article and P elements to match the first set. Start by adding the class item to the other article elements. Okay. So, class equals to item. We do that here and here and here. There we go. Okay, now position the P on, okay, so just do this and that, and that. Okay, there's this little space, I think. There we go.